Good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. As we move into the time after Easter, what does it mean for us to be the people of Easter, the people who live knowing that Jesus is resurrected, that Jesus is alive, and that He lives and moves and has His being within us? And how then do we go about living lives in which we allow Him greater and greater participation in our lives, so that we can grow into spaces where we might relate to others as Jesus did? In essence, He was undefended. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that He was authentic. He didn't put up unnecessary barriers. He didn't hide Himself from others. He didn't try to be what He was not, simply to impress the people of the day. He was uncontrolling, and He met life as it came to Him, as it unfolded around Him, with deep courage and a grounded wisdom. We find it very difficult to live that way. Each of us, down to the very, very last one of us, to the most unlikely of us, has a frail sense of our own self-worth. Never fall into the trap of believing that you're the only one who sees yourself as worth less than you really are. Everyone is filled with doubt, confusion, self-doubt, and for some even self-loathing. And there are not many of us who are brave enough to deal with our inner sense of worthlessness, because it's just too painful to look at ourselves in all our mucky, messy nakedness. And so we simply bury what we do not like. We cover up our ugly, nagging, weak points. Parts of us that are so filled with fear. And we look around for someone to emulate, someone to look up to, someone who will lead the way. And what we do now is we project all that we are not onto the people we admire and hold up as leaders. If we are filled with doubt, then we want someone in our lives who does not doubt, someone who has a degree of certainty about them. We want someone who won't fall prey to petty temptations as we do. We want a leader who is different, more powerful than us, more successful than us. We want someone who will protect us, defend us and our way of living against the battles of everyday life. And so what we do is we turn ordinary people, just like you and me, into heroes, the heroes that we need them to be. And we do this to the priest, the pastor, the psychiatrist or psychologist, the bishop, the political leader. And so in this way, by creating heroes, we deal with our own deficiencies And our leaders now live lives for us that we cannot live. In some way, when we do this, we abdicate the responsibility for our own lives. And so we look to the leader to be who we cannot be. Now, what effect does this have on our leaders, parents, partners, whoever we do this to? The leader is initially gratified by your attention, or by the attention of the many. They are or fall in love in some ways with the adulation that they receive, and they strive to achieve the standards that we unconsciously set for them. And so now begins a collusion between the leader and the follower, and they begin to meet each other's needs. But what does this do? It creates dependent followers. The leader now becomes isolated, lonely, and increasingly lives under strain. Why? Because the leader now cannot admit to their struggles, because the followers will not hear them. And the leader must now maintain a persona or an image so as not to let the followers down. And as time passes, the leader becomes more and more split between the persona or the image that they present to the world and the reality of who they truly are. We recognize this with priests, or any person who followers expect to be of a higher moral stature. This is unfair on leaders, and it doesn't work for our own spiritual growth. And we have to come face to face with the fact that God knows us anyway. Who are we kidding? And why not just be authentic with God? Authentic with yourself and authentic with everyone around you. And in that way, we are most likely to grow up and mature spiritually. Who is it then that you have placed on a pedestal? And is that fair? And who have you allowed to place you on a pedestal? And how much does that damage your ability to be authentic? How much has that strained your inner world? We need, in this time after Easter, to come to God and be authentic, as Jesus was, and live as God meant you to live, not in perfection, but in a relationship with Him that gradually molds you into deeper and deeper Christ-likeness. Amen.